Okay, so this is episode 7 of our playthrough of Earthbound Beginnings. Um, I kind of forget where we left off. That's
Well,
right.
like you said, yeah, just like getting through that mansion, the haunted house in Spokane, and then what do you do from here, right? Sort of like kind of open ended.
Yeah, and that's right. So I think I went to the healer in the mountains in Marysville or Spokane. No, that was in Reindeer, um,
Reindeer has the old man in the mountains. Yep.
which seems to be almost inconsequential at this point. I wonder if we're going to revisit it. It just seems like a complete side quest at this point.
Yeah, I did not do it. Still, I did not bother with that particular side quest.
But is there anything in Reindeer? I feel like you get there and you get the hat and then you go to Snowman. Like, and do you even need the hat
Yeah.
to get Anna?
No. Yeah. Reindeer is a complete red herring. It's like it's almost built into the names too, right? It's like reindeer and snowman sort of go together, and then they've got Spokane in between. Um, so she must have been she must have been in reindeer for some reason. I guess like, to lose her hat there. I don't know what that would have been. But yeah, it's all just a bunch of like sort of blind alleys for us to go down in that whole corner of the map, really. But then once you have Anna in your party, you you're strongly encouraged to go on the other end of the train tracks, which goes to Youngstown. That's where
Yes.
she says to go.
Yes,
Yeah.
which unfortunately I was not. As soon as I saw that the bridge was out, I figured, oh, I have to do something. Let me turn around and go back
Yes.
down to Reindeer, the red herring. So yeah, little did I know that if you just trekked a little bit further north, you would find safe passage to the desert.
Yeah. And the desert here is strongly like reminiscent of the one in Earthbound. Um, it's got Oasis, uh, and the old man there. He's like a veteran, um, and he calls that we really want to just like hop into the tank and drive away, and the airplane, which of course he has to pilot for us. And I kind of thought that these were like another little jab at the RPGs, where you do get a vehicle eventually, right? Like an airship or something, or a ship, a boat, and you can sail around. Um, and Earthbound does this too, right? Like with each of the vehicles you get, you're like, oh, this is awesome, and then it's temporary. It like breaks immediately, or gets
Yeah,
um,
like the Skyrunner
broken. Yeah, exactly.
when it crashes
Uh,
in Threed. Um, it crashes in Threed, right? And that's how you end up meeting Ness and Paula.
exactly. Yeah, it busts straight through the fake grave where you're being held by the zombie lady.
Right.
Uh, and this this happens to Pokey in that game too, right? He has the helicopter and he's like laughing at you, and then the helicopter's like wrecked a little bit later. You find it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I don't think.
so there's something weird. Yeah,
Oh, I was going to say, does anything happen to the boat? I mean, I know that you're attacked by the Kraken. Um,
the Kraken comes and attacks you, but yeah, but you can ride the boat back and forth. I think. Yeah, it doesn't actually get destroyed. Um, yeah, in in Earthbound you've got at least a couple different deserts that you traverse, um, and there's this sort of weird echo there too. With yeah, where in your second desert, the Scaraba Desert, you end up walking around with Dungeon Man for a while. So you have this like ultra powerful party member who again is temporary, and that's sort of like the tank here. You have to fight the giant robot. Um, I found that really interesting. And then after you do, you get access to that cave, which of course is full of monkeys, like caves in the Mother series are. caves and deserts. That is.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's interesting that you bring up those parallels. Scaraba, is that how we pronounce how that the one name in Earthbound is pronounced?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so and
Scarab. Yeah,
there's obviously like Middle Eastern influence there, right? Because I guess
yeah.
Earthbound, you would travel more. The locations are more, Earth as opposed to Earthbound Beginnings, which is just America. And
Hmm.
that's why I think the desert that you first come across in Earthbound and this one are so similar. Has the same music, that kind of weird like radio
Right.
sounding stuff in the background. It seems like it has nice like feedback in it. It's I'm actually
Right.
impressed, and I guess like a lot of the songs actually did sound very good on the NES.
They do. Yeah.
I didn't realize how much those songs influenced, or were just basically upgraded for the Earthbound. So it's interesting to hear these songs in a more limited kind of audio format.
Yeah, they're everything. It's almost like a metaphor for pretty much everything in the game, right? It's like it's all sort of there, just in a very rudimentary state of realization of some of these ideas. Like some of the um, some of the stuff in Earthbound is totally original, but most of it's there in Earthbound Beginnings. Uh, yeah, I'd be interested, I think, now to kind of do more of a deep dive into like you find. I feel like it's almost like a circle that would be like Earthbound Beginnings, right? And then there's a bigger circle that's Earthbound, and like so practically everything from the original game is in the later game, and then there's some extra stuff in the later game, right? It extends beyond the original circle. Um,
Yeah, so you're
yeah,
basically
yeah,
the Venn diagram would just
yes,
basically have like a small sliver where it's like only beginnings that not
right,
contained, but yeah, I get what you're saying, and I
exactly,
agree.
exactly.
Yeah, so we end up going to the desert, and the enemies seem to be there seems to be a difficulty spike,
Oh yeah,
and a
oh
pretty
yeah.
big one. Uh, I'm not sure if you were supposed to kind of go grinding, or if this was like where you were supposed to grind. But I took your advice and I ended up going to Youngtown,
Oh yeah.
which is interesting. The wall that's like up there, right? You approach it, you go through the desert, and then you kind of come out, and there's kind of like this lush forest. I think they're evergreen trees. Um, and
Mhm.
you get there, and there's like a wall that that you have to walk through. That's like being guarded by some of the kids. Uh, just
Yeah.
That's the first town that we've seen any kind of like barrier, I guess. So I don't know what the purpose of that was. If that's something that the kids were like supposed to put up after the parents went missing. Um, I also, do we know how long ago the parents went missing?
It seems like it's still pretty fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sense I get, because they're all still really broken up about it. Uh yeah, I don't know what's going on with that wall. It's like their attempt to put up some kind of protective barrier, right, against all these encroaching, omega saucers and ultra barbots and scary doll like female robots called Nancy
Oh well,
who are
and there's
so
another one that we'll run into.
there is that's right, yeah, an upgraded version of her. Not to mention the super robot that lurks in the desert, right? But yeah, yeah, they are certainly very distraught. Most of the kids, anyway, uh,
Yeah,
and they're
and
sort of like trying to keep it together. But yeah,
well, and that's why I was kind of like I threw out the question of how long have the parents been gone. Um, this isn't a Lord of the Flies type situation where everything's just kind of like run amok and the kids have their own society. Uh, they
not quite.
they genuinely like miss their parents. They want them to come back. One of the kids is says like please hold me. Um, so it seems that they are definitely suffering from the loss of parents. Now,
Mhm.
I would think that if this happened to me when I was a kid, and it's no disrespect to my parents, but I'd be like, oh yeah, all right, this is pretty cool. Like I could do whatever I want.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, the range of reactions there definitely seems like Lord of the Flies is one kind of extreme, right?
Yeah.
And what's happening in Youngtown is kind of the other extreme of just sadness, right? They're so lost,
Yes.
really. And there's this weird sense there that like I don't know, like eventually one of them would have to go on an adventure, right? Like they're sort of like in the perfect position to be the hero of some sort of great adventure, right? They're going to go rescue their parents, but none of them are able to do it. And I found that really interesting too. The one kid there that has psychic powers is still a baby, so sort of like not prepared for this sort of thing. So this of course is resolved pretty quickly because you're there with your party and you're all powerful from going through the desert and whatnot. So everything's going to be okay. Um, the baby there does teach you teleportation, which is, while not like requisite, I guess, at least as far as I can tell, certainly very helpful for zipping around the map.
Yeah. Another thing I guess I point out in Youngstown is that is there a shop there? I don't know if you can buy anything there, but as you
There
mentioned,
is, there is.
do you actually pay money for that stuff? Oh,
I
I think
think the shop charges you, but the hotel does not. The
right.
hotel is so nice. Yeah,
No, it's great
yeah,
because you can just always go there, right? You can always like if you ever need to rest, you can just teleport there um, for free. But it's just the
yeah.
comment about like kids don't care about money, just wants his dad back. Uh,
Hmm.
I think is kind of interesting because I mean, very true to the world, right? Like when we were kids, we had no concept of money, and I was like, I don't really care for money. Like I'll do this stuff for you for free. So there's like an intrinsic kind of just
Yeah,
um, human nature to help people, or he wanted people to sleep there because he was lonely. Um,
yeah.
it just kind of goes to show what's more important, at least at a more basic child level, with more innocence. I'd say.
Oh, for sure. And this brings me to something I think we forgot to talk about. I don't remember for sure. When you're kind of exploring around Spokane, this is another place where free hotel. Did you find it? And but it's a trap, right? It's like if you do use the hotel there, in the morning after you're recovered, at least, you have to fight the person at the counter turns into a Starman, and attacks you. So
Uh, no, I did not find that hotel, and I did not encounter that. But
okay,
that's kind of funny.
yeah. So this like it feels like you're about to be set up for the same thing, but then it's like, oh no, this is actually just a nice kid, yeah, who let you stay for free. So
Okay, I didn't realize that they had done some kind of conditioning about being wary of any. There's no free lunch. There's no free hotel
mhm.
stay unless you go home.
Yep, yep. Which again, with teleportation you can. It's a little tedious though, because from your house, a clear like runway until you go to that long like diagonal path towards Podunk. So yeah, just like in Earthbound, you need a long stretch of clear really fast and build up speed to teleport. So
And if you don't, then you get
you
like
run
ash
into a
all
tree
over you.
or
You,
whatever.
you just
Yeah,
turn into that
you do the
black.
same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. You're burnt up by your own speed.
uh, I was going to ask something. Oh, I guess another good thing about the teleport is the fact that I guess item management's probably easier. Because
Oh,
can
for
you
sure.
store your items if you don't go home, or do you have to go all the way home to store them?
You can do it either at home or in Magic Camp.
Right. Okay.
'Cause there's another, yeah, and that's what's at the bottom of the monkey in the desert, by the way, is another entrance to Magicant,
Yeah.
which I'm not entirely sure what the point of that is, but if you do go through, and of course you have to leave again by going through the cave in Magicant, and you get spit out at a cave just outside Youngtown. Like, I think that's like the correct order to do things in. I'm not sure, um, but I really do strongly prefer the like run straight through the desert, get to Youngstown, and then recover and teleport and all that good stuff, and then take um take on that giant uh, robot at your leisure later on. And I
Yeah, no.
think
I don't think that, because like I was looking at a playthrough, um, like a FA, like a yeah, a playthrough basically guide, and they didn't go to Youngtown until after you went to Magic Camp for the second time. Um,
okay,
but I agree with you. It seems a lot easier to go to Youngtown and kind of maybe like grind a little bit, get your level up, get healthy, and then go out to the desert.
for sure.
Which,
And plus, you could go back to Magic Kent at any point if you have the hook, and you should because you need to get armor for your other party members. It's like I don't know how you could have got to this point in the game without doing that. Honestly, like crazy to think about.
yeah.
So
So I have a question. When you get to the veteran out at the Oasis, he offers to take you in a plane, for I think it was like 5, 10, or $15 per ticket. Did you? I only did the
right.
first one, the $5 one. Did you do the other two?
Yeah, no, I tried all three because you have to ride at least three times to get the 10 tickets, right?
Right.
So I tried the first, and then the second, and then the third, and then I'm pretty sure my pockets were full, and I was like, God, I have to go, So then I had to go home and then drop some stuff off. But anyway, yeah, they are different flight plans. Um,
It,
one will fly you around, like back to your home, I think. Another flies you over. Uh, yeah, I don't remember where they all go, but they fly all around different places. Um, and you can see, at least in one of them, you can see the maze. So it's sort of like a strong hint, like, oh, here's a place you can go.
yeah.
Um, and I don't remember what else you can find if you fly all around. But yeah, he's an interesting character. He also says something about how he left out there in the desert, um, which apparently you can find it if you go and like check every I don't know if it's the kind of thing you just like step on and something happens, or if you have to be checking everything as you go. But supposedly, if you do find it, there's like a fourth wall breaking thing from Itoi saying something to you about like finding his message out in the desert. I don't know. I
Yeah,
didn't
something
do
about it being
it.
like a secret, and he's like, "Oh wait, I shouldn't have said that," or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you
And
explore it at all? The desert, I mean.
I couldn't I couldn't find anything in the desert other than the oasis and the ruins. Yeah, I don't know if there is anything else. And then obviously there is that mine out there somewhere.
Yeah, you get in. So yeah, so after you do the flights, you get into the tank, which I immediately started thinking of Jackal, which is one of my favorite NES games, and probably one of the best like two-player NES games, where you're in a tank and you're just driving around, but you couldn't shoot anything. But it's pretty absurd that this veteran would allow like three kids to, oh yeah, fine. I already milked like enough money out of you. Sure, take the tank, no problem.
Yeah.
It's like
And
crazy
he
old man.
he remarks like multiple times he remarks like how happy you look about this. How
Right.
excited you look. And this is something that a lot of characters do, which I find kind of interesting, right? Because you're a silent protagonist, but characters every so often will say like, "Oh, you look so happy. You all look so happy." Or in Magic Cant, it's like, "Oh, like everyone here loves you." Um, so there's like these ways that, yeah, they like tell you how you're supposed to be feeling about things. I find it interesting.
No, of
Yeah, it is
course.
sweet. You get better than you think. It's awesome.
Well, no,
Uh,
I think the point you raise is an interesting one, right? Because I think that's generally how adults like see children. I don't know. I don't have children, but it's like, oh, you look so happy. Like, yeah, you're just a kid. Like, I don't know. You should be happy all the time, even despite the fact that they're going through like all these struggles to try to save the
Yeah.
world,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which you didn't
Yeah.
choose, right? You didn't choose that destiny. It was just kind of thrust upon them. But yeah, you look happy going around having to fight crocodiles and buffalo and bison,
Oh
weird
God.
ghosts named Nancy and Kelly.
Yeah. They're vicious. I I like that we get to use the tank, um, but it is also just like such a misdirection, right? It's like you the only thing you can do with it is fight that one battle where it
Right,
breaks. But
right.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, and it continues our string of unconventional keys and locks. Um,
Right.
you know, in what game would it be? Oh, you have to fly a plane around like 4 times at a minimum, and then you get a tank, and then you go to some ancient ruins where there's a giant robot waiting for you. None of this makes any kind of like logical sense.
No, no,
So
no, exactly. Uh, and again, I don't think you actually have to do any of that either, right? Like at least I didn't find any melodies in the monkey cave. So because you can get back to Magic Ant by other means. I know that the dragon's still there. We'll have to go fight that eventually. And we'll have to like tell Mary the completed song once we have that. So we do have stuff we have to do in Magic Camp, but we don't have to go through the monkey cave to get there. So yeah, it's all just a fun kind of extra thing that's thrown in there.
yeah, I
Uh,
guess teleport. I know what it does in game, right? So I think you go down to the monkey cave. The monkeys are just uh, a bit mischievous. You talk to the one monkey who says that monkeys lie. Like, don't believe anything that they say, which
yeah,
is one of those kind of circular statements where it's like, oh, well, maybe you're lying, but if you're lying,
exactly.
then you're actually telling the truth. And I think you run across one monkey who's like, I'm a beautiful woman. And it's like, you say yes. And he's like, actually, I'm a guy.
Yeah.
Like, they don't make any sense. Just, and it's the same in Earth, though. Like, why is there just like a cave of monkeys in like the middle of this desert? Um, But yeah,
Well,
I don't think
what you
aside from a couple items, there's nothing down there. But you do have to teleport there by going to one of those XX stones again and like using telepathy. So I think that triggers it so that when you leave Magic Can't, the next time you're spit out like on the other side of
Oh
the
yeah,
map.
that
So
seems right.
so I
Yeah,
don't know.
that seems right.
Yeah, I don't know if you could just like use the Onyx hook to circumvent this, but I think the game probably flags it that, oh, if the last place that you teleported was from in here, or you get spit out somewhere else.
Yeah. No, and what you said about the monkeys, that made me think about Magicant. Uh, and oh no, sorry, and Moonside in Earthbound, right? Where
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
there's like this like backwards logic, where yes is no and no is yes. And they don't do as much with that. Uh, it's just for fun in Earthbound Beginnings version of this, and the Monkey Cave is way easier than its version in the later game. It's much less tedious here. I don't think there's even enemies in there, are there?
No,
You just obstacles other than like getting kind of mixed up about where you're trying to go.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
you can get some PSI stones, and you can also get, uh, I think, a quick
there's at
capsule.
least one, yeah, at least one capsule I found. Yeah, yeah,
But
and
yeah,
it's
no.
fun and it's goofy, but
Yes, in
yeah,
terms of the labyrinths that we've had to go into previously, the fact that this one is pretty straightforward and there's no enemies, it, I had no problem with it being in the game. I was like, oh, okay, I actually wanted to talk to the monkeys. Like, I sought them out
right, yeah,
as opposed to just trying to get
yeah.
get it done as quickly as possible.
I really like the amount of like talking animals that we've got to experience here. Uh, because that's like again, that's like the first thing that we see manifested as far as Nintendo's powers go, in like a clear way, right? It's like his ability to talk to animals. So I'm glad that that sort of comes back here. Uh, I don't know. In in the center of the cave, there is a person too, right?
Is there?
Penguin? There's a penguin at least. Is there
Huh.
not another person down there? Can't remember.
I didn't
Uh,
see anyone. Um, I'm not sure if I got lost and it's an easy maze, but I didn't have to. I spent maybe 5 minutes in there. Um,
okay.
so I don't think I probably explored every nook and cranny.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think. Well, so yeah, of course, in Earthbound, you've got the Tala Rama, the meditating guru, who's like at the center of the cave. In this one, I think there's sort of a corresponding person there who sort of flags like, okay, you've like made it to the middle, the center of the labyrinth here. Um, and but there is definitely a penguin. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right.
uh, I'm looking at a map right
Anyway,
now. It's cave three. Jeez Louise, this is complicated. I'm not seeing a penguin,
okay.
but it doesn't
It
show
cannot be
anything
confirmed.
on the map, so it just like shows like where the items are. Huh, that's interesting. Um, yeah, what is a toy's fascination with monkeys?
So, okay. Apparently, the desert thing refers to like an actual treasure hunt. At least the one in Earthbound, right? Like, a toy actually sort of treasure hunt for like a famous buried treasure in Japan. And so he like wrote that into the later game. Um, why, yeah, why the monkeys? That I don't know. I I don't
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
listen. I mean, monkeys are cool. Um, one of the better animals that he could pick. I was just wondering why, if there was a specific reason other than yeah, monkeys are cool.
Yeah, and they're like mischievous. Yeah, uh, they're practically human. They imitate humans. Um, yeah. Oh, I don't
Um,
know.
okay, so in the desert, I was going through my walk the walkthrough, and I noticed that there was something I may have missed out there. I think
Oh,
our fifth or sixth melody is out there.
out in the desert, really?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure.
Where do you find it?
Search on there. Hold on. If you take the chiefest, remember to return here later, as that is important. If you there's a cactus that I guess you were supposed to be looking out for. That's a little bit different than all the other cacti.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh,
that
really?
after you fly, you walk up to it and you get your fifth melody.
Whoa. How are we
So
supposed to know that? Is there a hint somebody gives you in the game? Watch out for a weird cactus.
yeah, I don't know. I honestly, as soon as I did the flight, I like watched for 2 seconds and then I got distracted and started doing something else. Like I didn't pay it. I would have never seen that cactus. That
Oh, interesting.
that would have probably drove me insane, and I would not be able to finish the game. In the pre-internet
Oh,
days.
oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, there is oh gosh. Yeah, there's something so perfect about that though, right? Like that there's one thing hidden in the desert that we know about, it's the mine. But then there's one thing that's actually important that's hidden in the desert, and it's this slightly different cactus that you
Yeah.
might see from your flight, or you might not. Wow,
Well,
that's wild.
and if there wasn't anything else, it would basically just be Reindeer 2.0, where it's like pretty pointless that
Yeah,
now there's more significance to the desert, at least so far, um, because there is actually something that you need to do in there when you get into the cave so that you can go to back to Magic Camp. But yeah, I mean, I guess just based on the amount of real estate, uh, should have maybe looked a little bit harder.
fair. Yeah, yeah. No,
Or
but then there's immediately after this is another like very large area of the overworld map to explore the swamp. I did not explore all of it by any stretch, uh, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more stuff hidden out there. Uh,
yeah, I don't have time for that. I'll look it up to
it's
see if there's anything worth getting, but
well, the one
I'm
thing I did find, we find Pippi again. Did you find her
I did.
house out in the swamp? Okay, so that and there's a trash can outside that is shaking, and that's Lloyd's dad. Uh, at least in my game, I never got the call from my dad saying, "I need your name,"
Hmm.
like you, the player. But this trash can person says, "Just in case, like you should tell me your name." So those two characters are both involved in like trying to get the player's name. Yeah.
Yeah, which goes, I think, to kind of our overall theme of parents, I guess, and children. Um,
Yeah, it does. Totally.
especially since we were just in Youngstown, where all the adults like you know disappeared to Mount Itoy, which great name. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, no, I did the same thing. So yeah, I think Pippi's was just kind of like a halfway point, so you could save
Yeah.
and like heal. I didn't have much trouble getting through the swamp. I don't know if you
I
did.
I got killed eventually. Well, not all the way killed, but yeah, Anna got killed by some bison towards the end there. But I did make it to LA with the other two. So, which is that's an expensive hotel hospital. It took like $500 for each of those things in LA. So that was dumb.
Did you actually pay it?
Yeah. I don't know what else I'm going to use my money for, so I may as
Uh,
well.
that's a good point. Because when I died, I just teleported to somewhere where it was cheaper and then teleported back.
Hmm.
But yeah, you're
Smart.
right. I don't know. I think I have like $10,000 in the bank. I'm not sure what I'm saving it for.
Yeah, so yeah, neither of us have really explored LA yet. Maybe everything there is really expensive and worth buying. The one person I talked to so far was the cop in the jailhouse.
Ah, yes, the
He
empty
said, he
jailhouse.
says something. Yeah, he says something about like, come back, see me later. I'll have really good weapons. So maybe that's worth saving money for. I don't know.
I did find it interesting that the police officer at the prison, which again has no one in it, is some kind of arms dealer, like a covert selling weapons to kids.
Right.
I'm just trying to like like when I got to LA, yeah, I think that was base. It's funny that that's one that you mentioned because I think that's like the only place I actually searched.
Yeah, it for some reason stood out, and I was like, okay, this is clearly an important thing. I'll take a peek in here. But no, nothing yet.
And LA is by far the biggest habitable area that we've done, or most populous, I guess. Uh,
Right.
you know, we were talking before this started. I kind of actually missed like LA proper when I first started because I followed the path and you just go to all these cookie cutter houses that all virtually look the same. You can't go into any of them. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, at first I'm like, wait, this can't just be LA, right? It's just like random homes, but I guess that's supposed to be the suburbs. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's so it is the last town marked on our map. Again, there's definitely more stuff though. Like there are some remaining things we know we have to find the mountain where the parents have been taken. Um, we know we have to find one more party member. So if he's not in LA, I don't know where he is. So yeah, I'm hopeful that he's here. Um,
did,
and yeah, I think we're kind of getting close to the end of the game. Obviously, remaining dungeons and whatnot might be super difficult, but I think the end is in sight.
no, that's a shame because I think I'm starting to actually enjoy it, even though I
Right.
I feel like I have too many options with the psi power. I only
Oh, for
end up
sure.
using like freeze
Oh,
every
I always
time.
use beam.
Okay, is beam good?
Beam is powerful, man. It kills most things in one hit. But I only have beta so far. I think once you get beam gamma, I think it is just a one-hit kill for everything. Uh, but
Interesting.
fire, well, foes. So once you start learning your fire spells, those might be worth trying out too.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of under leveled at this point because I have been like abusing save states, so I'm not really like getting
Hmm.
lost and grinding and getting experience. Um, so I guess when you went through the caverns at Magicant to exit, um, did you try to awaken the dragon?
No, I know that he'll wake up this time, or I'm assuming he will, since it's like taking us back to Magic Camp, you know. But no, I want to wait till I get my other party member, man. I don't want to fight any dragons with just three. That's foolish. Did you fight him?
No, I tried. I think you have to be at level 25.
Oh, I don't
So
even know if I'm quite high leveled. Yeah.
yeah, you can only fight the dragon after you get to level 25. I'm at like level 24. So I checked to see if I could fight it, but it was still saying like you're too weak to
Oh, okay.
awaken the dragon. So yeah,
That makes
so
sense.
and spoiler, the dragon gives you a melody. So
I figured. Okay, so the cactus, the dragon. I think there's still two left, though, right? At
yeah.
least, yeah. Okay.
So did you explore the like observation tower in LA?
I didn't see that part yet. No,
Okay.
I didn't. I didn't go there.
Yeah, to the north of LA and to the far left as well. So I guess northwest. There's like a giant observation tower that you can go into. Um,
Okay.
it's it. I guess I'll just say what it is. You go up there and you check the telescope. I don't know if it's a telescope, whatever it is. You know, the sightseeing thing, binoculars,
Mhm.
and it's like, oh, you see a spark off in the island in the distance. And then you see the spark
Ooh.
like go away, and then it turns out that it's this tiny rocket that lands on top of uh, the observation tower, and you get into it and you fly back to this weird house on like an island that has like three
Oh,
people in it,
cool.
and they're all begging for strawberry tofu.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So before you do that, you might want to stock up on your strawberry tofu.
Buy some strawberry tofu. Someone in an earlier town was like, people in the big city like strawberry tofu. I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold on to that strawberry tofu that I found in the Magicant treasure room. Um, okay, so maybe I'll get that out of
They do sell it
storage.
in the big city, but it's expensive. It's like $975.
Oh, so that's what we need to do with our money. There we go.
Yeah, I guess so. We're supposed to buy all the strawberry tofu we can. But I
I
will say
think
that
that
this is a better weird food than trout flavored yogurt.
I was just about to say, I'm pretty sure in the Japanese version, it's a strawberry tofu machine and not a trout flavored yogurt machine. So that's another like direct callback that they localized it differently, I guess, the second time around. That's weird.
Yeah. So yeah. So I guess we're at LA. Um, I don't know what's in store for us next, but I'm excited to explore the big city. Um,
For sure.
you have any final thoughts?
I I really want to meet our remaining party member. I want to immediately give him that sword that no one else can equip that was hanging out in a box by the dragon. And then I'm gonna go fight the dragon. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Wait, you're not like hold on, I'm just looking up some of the Earth. Okay. I feel like I got a butter knife
There's a
somewhere.
butter knife.
I got a
Yep,
but
yep. There's.
wow, which I don't know how good that is in terms of it being a weapon. I guess I would have to imagine that the sword is a better
Yeah,
weapon than a butter knife. But who
it's
knows?
gotta be. It's gotta be. Butter knife in like one of the factories. Yeah, and it's like, what is even the point of this? It's just taunting you at that point. Yeah.
And I'm the idiot who just kept it in my inventory because I was like, well, maybe I'll need it soon. Like it might be an item that I
it's,
need. So I have the sword and
it's
the butter knife, taking up two of my very precious item slots for Lloyd.
oh my gosh.
But yeah, like why
Uh,
give it? Why are you giving away these weapons, especially if the sword is in Magicant and it's so easy to find?
yeah, yeah. Maybe the idea is like your pockets are probably full by then, so you're gonna see this cool sword but not be able to get it yet. Yeah, I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
have to look into that deeper. Um, I will say now that I have switched over to kind of a playthrough or a guide, it has made it a lot easier to progress, since I know where I'm going. But yeah, I'm excited to see who our new party member is, and like you said, give him the sword. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much longer this game is going to take us. I have no idea who the antagonist is. Um, I just know that there's like,
Mystery.
I know that there's bad people out there, but there's no, they have not mentioned who the end boss was, or like who's responsible for all of this.
Right. No, yeah, that remains a mystery for sure.
But yeah, all right. Well, I think that'll wrap up this episode, and I guess we'll do episode 8 next week.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
See